Well, let's begin. What I thought I would do this morning is another sort of gently flowing yoga practice, vinyasa practice, with the emphasis mostly on um, staying aware of the flowing nature of this practice. As we flow from one pose into another pose, we also feel the breath flowing through the body and tying into the movement of our body. So that's what I have in mind. This will be similar to the practice that we did on Tuesday, for those of you who were in the class on Tuesday. Let's start as we almost always do, in a seated position with the eyes gently closed, and just become present. Just allow yourself to settle into your mat, settle into awareness of your body resting on the mat. With the eyes closed, just gently begin to breathe. If it feels good, allow the breath to lengthen a little bit. And feel free to utilize the exhale as a method of releasing any tension that you come across as you stay aware of your body. Begin to notice the jaw and see if it's lightly clenched. If it is, just let the tension that causes that clenching flow out on the next exhale. You know, let the breathing lengthen even a little bit more if you like. Now keep your awareness on your breath and begin to notice, to become more deeply aware of the flow of the breath in the body. Feel the breath as it flows in and out through the nostrils. Feel the breath flowing through the whole body. Start to become aware of the endlessly flowing nature of your breathing. Notice the breath is hardly ever at rest. It's almost always in motion. That's the nature of flow. Always moving. Let's find 2 or 3 more breaths. Again, with awareness on the gentle flow of the breath through the body and the nostrils. And 2 more beautifully flowing breaths. Now 1 more. Now, just let it all go. Let's begin on our back. And we're going to work through a flow that begins with legs up the wall pose. So lay down on your back, relax the back of the shoulders. Arms are long and by your side, palms facing down. Reach up gently through the wrists, through the heels. Got confused between what's on the arms and what's on the legs. So press up through the heels. At the same time, press your sitting bones down, press your tailbone down so the lower part of the body lengthens. Now reach the arms up and overhead so that the fingers point towards the back of your mat. The palms are facing towards one another. Now point your toes gently and then slowly bring the legs down. Keep the legs straight. The feet can be together, even touching. Let the heels land and then bend the knees. Bring the hands to heart center and bring the forehead up towards the knees, curling into a little ball. And then release the head. Release the heels to the sky. Bring the hands down again to legs up the wall pose. Now bend the knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat, preparing for bridge pose. Press the feet into the mat and lift the hips gently into bridge pose. As you exhale, release the tailbone so it comes down to the mat. Then bring the soles of the feet together into inverted cobbler pose. The knees come apart. Now bring the arms out to a T. And then bring the knees together. Soles of the feet come off the mat. Bring the knees into the chest. Then bring your knees over to the right. And then bring them back to center and over to the left. We're going to do that 3 times on each side. Back to center and over to the right. And back to center and knees flowing to the left. Inhale back to center, and last time, knees to the right. Bring them back to center and the knees go over to the left. Inhale the knees back to center and now straighten the legs. And we're back to legs up the wall pose. Let's go through that again. Reach the heels to the sky, press the palms into the mat, legs up the wall pose. Let's add something here. Plow pose, bring the feet up and overhead, touch the toes down behind you if you can. Press the palms into the mat. Now slowly back to legs up the wall pose. Begin to reach the arms up and overhead, point the toes, legs stay straight, reach the fingertips towards the back of the mat, point the toes, stretch them towards the front of the mat. Now inhale, hands to heart center, bend the knees, bring the forehead towards the knees, curling into a little ball. Then release the head to the mat, hands come down by your side, legs up the wall pose. Bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Press the feet into the mat. Let's find another bridge pose. See if you can bring the shoulder blades a little bit closer together on the back. Then as you exhale, bring the tailbone down to the mat. Soles of the feet together for inverted cobbler pose. Knees come apart. Feel that nice stretch in the inner part of the thighs. Now bring the arms out to a T. Knees come together. Now bring the knees towards the chest, knees to the right. And then as you move over to the left with the knees, you're going to feel a little massaging of the lower part of the spine. Back to center and the knees to the right, second time. And back to center and over to the left. And one more time back to center and to the right. And then back to center. You feel this in the core, particularly the abdominal muscles to the left. And back to center. Bring the arms down by your side. Reach the heels to the sky, legs up the wall pose. Let's include our plow pose here. Press the hands into the mat. Bring the feet up and overhead. Now tailbone comes down to the mat. Reach the arms high. Point the toes. Legs stay straight. Bring the heels down to the mat. Legs are still straight. Reach. And then hands to heart center. Bring the forehead up towards the bent knees. And release the head down to the mat. Hands come down. Reach the heels to the sky. We're back to legs up the wall pose now. Now bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Press the feet into the mat and lift the hips into bridge pose. On the exhale, the tailbone comes down. Now soles of the feet to the mat, legs up the wall, arms come out to a T. Reach the hands apart from one another. See if you can relax the outer part of the hips a little bit. Now the knees come together, the feet come off the mat, knees to the right and back to center and knees over to the left. You feel that nice massage in the tailbone and knees to the right. This is the second one. And back to center and over to the left. And one more time, knees to the right. Good, and bring them back to center and over to the left. And that's it, we're done. Bring the knees back to center. And then just rock yourself gently into a seated position. Once you're seated, find a cross-legged position if you like. And begin to breathe gently in and out. You can let your eyes close down now. And bring your awareness again to the flow of the breath. Notice how the breath is flowing in and out of the nostrils. 2 more breaths like that. And 1 more. Good. Open the eyes, bring the right hand to the left knee, left hand down behind you, twist, take a deep breath in. Then as you exhale, let's flow right over to the other side. Bring the left hand to the right knee, right hand down behind, take a deep breath. Twist a little bit more deeply and then back to center and twisting to the left, right hand to left knee. Breathe in deeply, let your spine lengthen. Exhale and twist over to the right side, left hand to right knee, right hand down behind you. Now take a deep breath in, come back to center, reach the arms high, and exhale the hands to heart center. On an inhale, reach back up. Exhale the arms to a T. Drop the right hand down, reach the left hand up and over. Press down on the left sitting bone and breathe. 1 more deep breath. As you exhale, come back to center and bring the left hand down. Reach the right hand up and over as you stretch the right side body. You can bend that left elbow a little bit. Inhale, rise back up, and right hand comes down, left hand reaches. Inhale, come back up, and left hand down, right hand reaching. Really stretch that out. Now let's just flow side to side 3 times. 1, and back to center, and to the left, and back to center, and the second time to the right, and back to center, and left hand comes down, reach with the right. Inhale, 3rd time. Right hand down, left hand reaching. And last one, left hand down. Reach with the right hand. Inhale and rise all the way back up. Reach your arms high. Then as you exhale, bring the hands down to the knees. Keep the elbows straight if you can. So the spine is nice and long. Chin stays in a neutral position. Now keep your right arm straight and pressing into the right knee. Bend the left elbow and bring your left shoulder down towards the mat. Keep pressing that right hand into the right knee. Now the spine is long, your upper body is pretty much aligned with that left thigh. Pull yourself around with the spine long over to the right side. Now straighten the left elbow, press into the left knee. Now bring your chin to your chest and round your spine, drawing the navel in as you come up. Let's do that a second time. Reach off to the left. Right arm is straight. Pull yourself around. Now chin on chest, round the spine and rise, coming up. 1 more time on this side. Reaching to the left side. Pull yourself around. Chin on chest, spine rounds. Draw the navel in as you come up. Take a deep breath. And let it go. Good. Do that again. A big, deep breath. And let it go. Let's go to the other side now. Left arm is straight. Press into that left knee. Bring the left shoulder down so it's level. Now pull yourself around, flowing over to the left side. Now chin on chest, round the spine as you come up. Over to the left, upper body aligns with that right thigh. Pull yourself around. Spine stays long. Now chin on chest, spine rounds as you come up. 1 more time. Reaching and then pulling yourself around, flowing over to the left side. Now chin on chest, spine rounds and rise. Take a deep breath. And let it go. Do that a second time. A big, deep breath. Good work, everybody. Let's find all 4s now. Spread your fingers nice and wide, the thumbs pointing towards one another, the hands pretty much under the shoulders, so about shoulder width. Now press your hips off to the left, and then pull the hips over to the right. Begin to feel that nice stretch in the outer part of the hip, and make sure you keep both hands into the mat. Just continue flowing side to side. Don't worry about the number of times. Just keep going until it feels like we've started to open up those hip joints a little bit. Make sure again that both hands are pressing into the mat. So when you go to the left, make sure the right hand's pressing down. And when you go to the right, make sure that left hand stays grounded. 1 more time. And then over to the other side. And then bring it back to center. Now walk the hands forward just a couple of inches. And then press your hips to the left and then forward. We're just going to make circles with the hips, and then to the right, and then press back, and then over to the left, and forward, and then to the right, and back. And one more time around this direction, the left and forward, then the right and back. Now come back to center, and then press the hips to the right. We'll go the other way. Hips come forward now, and then to the left, and back, and to the right, and forward, and to the left, and right. I forgot the back. And over to the left. This is the last time around this direction. And to the right, and then forward. Now come back to all fours, and then walk the hands forward about 3 more inches. So your hands are pretty forward of the shoulders. Press back towards child's pose. We're just going to flow now. Glide forward, and drop the hips down. Lift the chin a little bit. The elbows can bend just a bit. Knees are still on the mat. Point the toes towards the back of the room. Now come back to center, back to table pose, and now back towards child's pose, lengthening the spine. And then inhale and just glide forward, bringing the hips forward and letting them drop down. Lift the chin, press the heart and navel forward, then press back again towards child's pose. Let's do that twice more. Flowing forward, dropping the hips down, lifting the chin, and exhale, press back towards child's pose one more time. Gliding forward. This time, pause, pull the shoulders back, press your heart forward. Now look over your right shoulder, and then back to center and look over to the left. So you can see that left foot in your peripheral vision on the left side, and then come back to center. Now back to table pose. And from there, tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Press the tailbone up and back. This is our first downward dog of the practice. Maybe start to feel a nice stretch in the back of the legs. If it feels good, feel free to pedal out the legs, bending one knee and then the other knee. And then go back to the first knee and then the other one. This helps us start to stretch out the muscles in the back of the legs. You can pedal it out another once or twice on each side. Keep pressing your hands into the mat and lengthening the spine. Now come to stillness in downward facing dog, and then glide forward to plank pose. Check in with your hips. Make sure your hips are aligned with your shoulders and your heels. Then bring your knees down to the mat. We're back to all fours. Now press back towards child's pose. Glide forward, dropping the hips down. This time bring the knees off the mat into upward facing dog. Arms are straight. The hands are right below the shoulders. Now tuck the toes, lift the hips, and let's find downward facing dog. And then glide forward again to plank pose. Bring the knees to the mat. Let's do that again, pressing back towards child's pose, gliding the hips forward and then down. Bring the knees off the mat in upward facing dog. A little deeper back bend if you can. Now roll over the toes and downward facing dog. Lots of length in the spine. 2 more breaths in downward facing dog. And 1 more. Now glide forward to plank. Roll over onto the side of the feet. Side plank. Reach the right hand high. The left hand stays down. Then bring the right hand down. Roll over onto the other side of the feet. Reach the left hand high. Side plank again on the other side. Right hand is down. Left hand is reaching. And that's it. Bring the left hand down. Back to plank pose. Bring the knees to the mat. Chest and chin follows. Inchworm your way into cobra pose this time. Lifting the heart up off the mat with the elbows bent. Nice deep back bend. And then release all the way down. Tuck your toes. Push to plank. Lift your hips high. Downward facing dog. Stretch it out. On an inhale, reach your right leg just back. You don't have to lift it up much. Point the toes. And then step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Step the left foot forward to meet it. And find a standing forward fold. Let your head get heavy and drop down. Now keep your chin on your chest around your spine as you rise, coming up. Once you're up, reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale the hands to heart center. Press the palms together. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale the arms to a T. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward, bringing the hands down to the mat. Now a half lift. Bring the hands to the top of the shins. And exhale, bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Let your head drop down. Now step the left foot back. The right foot stays forward. Press back on the left heel. Bring the left knee to the mat. Untuck the toes. Reach the arms up and overhead. Keep pressing into that right foot and press the right knee forward. We're in a low crescent lunge. Reach up through the wrists a little bit more. Relax the fingertips. As you exhale, bring the hands down. Tuck the toes. Bring the left knee off the mat. Right foot steps back to plank pose. Now lift your hips. Downward facing dog. On an inhale, left leg lifts, not very much. Press back on the left heel. On the toes of the left foot. Pressing down on the right heel. Then step your left foot forward so it ends up between the hands. Now step the right foot forward so it meets the left foot. Let your head drop down. Chin on chest, round the spine as you rise, coming up. Let the arms reach up and overhead, and exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach back up. Now, palms about shoulder width apart and facing one another. Now we're going to take a little bend to the right and press the hips to the left. And back to center, flowing to the other side, hips to the right, reaching to the left with both hands. Inhale, back to center, do it again. Hips flow to the left, hands reach to the right. Inhale, back to center and to the other side, pressing the hips to the right. Inhale, reach back up. Keep the biceps on either side of the ears, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Bring the hands down to the mat. Come to a half lift, hands to the top of the shins. Press the palms into the shins, lengthening the spine. Then as you exhale, bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Step way back with the right foot. Runner's lunge is where we've gotten to. Now bring the right knee to the mat. Reach the arms high into a low crescent lunge on our second side, pressing that left knee forward as you press the left foot into the mat. Reach up a little bit more through the wrists. That's it. Keep reaching. And exhale, flow the hands down to the mat. Tuck the toes, bring the right knee off the mat. Left foot steps back to plank pose. Take a breath. And let it go. 2 more breaths. Bring your awareness to the flow of the breath in the body. And 1 more breath. Stay with it. After the exhale of that 3rd breath, bring your knees to the mat. Now, knees, chest, chin, and cobra pose. Lift the heart up off the mat. Elbows bend. Press your pubic bone down. Press your navel and heart forward. As you exhale, release. Come all the way down. Now tuck your toes, push to plank, and lift your hips high. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths in downward dog. Breathe in deeply. And out completely. And again, big, deep breath in. And exhale, let the breath go. 1 more time. Deep breath in. And let it go. On an inhale, right leg rises. Reach it high. We're going to flow through that same thing we did last time. Step the right foot forward. Bring the left knee to the mat. Reach the arms high. Low crescent lunge. Pressing the right knee forward. Now bring your hands to heart center and press the palms together. And then bring the left elbow to the right knee, moving into a prayer twist. You're looking off to the right side. The right elbow is stacked over the palms, and the palms are stacked over the left elbow. Breathe. Keep the palms together as you come back to center. Reach the arms high. Exhale the hands down, flowing the hands to the mat. Tuck the toes, bring the left knee off the mat. Now step the right foot back to plank pose. Take a breath. As you exhale, knees to the mat. Chest and chin follow. Inchworm your way into cobra pose, lifting the heart off the mat. Take a breath. Let the breath flow out. Come all the way down. Tuck the toes. Push to plank. Lift your hips high. Downward facing dog. Good work. On an inhale, left leg rises. Lift it up and then step it forward so it ends up between the hands. Now the right knee comes down. Reach the arms high. Low crescent lunge. Second time on this side. Bring the hands to heart center. Take a breath. As you exhale, bring that right elbow to the left knee. Reach the left elbow up and overhead. The head's still reaching forward. And the left elbow is stacked over the palms over the right elbow. Right elbow's on that left knee, the left knee approximately over that left heel. Keep the palms together as you come back to center. Reach up high and exhale the hands all the way down. Tuck the toes, bring that right knee off the mat. Step the left foot back to plank pose. 3 breaths now. Breathe in and out. Feel the breath flowing again through the body. And one more time. Breathing in and breathing out. Knees to the mat, chest and chin follows, inchworming your way into cobra pose. Lift the heart up off the mat. And then exhale, release all the way down. Now bring the knees apart and child's pose. Let the forehead rest on the mat. The hands are forward, and you may walk the hands forward a little bit more, helping to lengthen the spine. Think about reaching your tailbone towards your heels. And now find 3 breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. Stay with it. Breathing in and breathing out. One more breath. Now rise. Come to table pose. Bring the knees back so they're about hip width apart. And then when you're ready, tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. On an inhale, right leg rises. Now 3-legged dog. Open the hips to the right. Press that left heel down. And as you exhale, level the hips. Step the right foot all the way forward so it ends up between the hands. Leave the left hand on the mat. Reach the right hand high into a lunge twist. That right knee still bent about 90 degrees. Now bring your right hand down so the right hand comes down to the inside of the right foot. Reach the left hand up and overhead. This is a revolved lunge twist. You're still up on the ball of that left foot. That left heel is off the mat. Now bring the left hand down to the left of the right hand. So both hands are to the left of that right foot. Now bend the elbows, let your chest come down, keep your spine long, and then press back up, straightening the elbows. Do that a second time. And straighten the elbows. One more time. Bend the elbows, let the chest come down. Feel that nice stretch on the right hip. Now spin the left heel to the mat and rise to warrior 2. Right knee is bent. Bring your gaze forward so you're looking over the extended right hand. Take a breath. Good. Now hands come down on either side of the right foot. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. We're to runner's lunge. Step the right foot back to plank pose. Take a breath. Now, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana, upward facing dog as we flow through a vinyasa. And then downward facing dog on the exhale. Tailbone reaches up and back. On an inhale, left leg rises, 3-legged dog. Open the hips to the left this time. Working on stacking that left hip over the right hip. And remember to press the left palm into the mat as much as the right. Level the hips now. Step the left foot forward so it ends up between the hands. Left knee bent about 90 degrees. We're in runner's lunge. Right hand down, left hand reaching. Lunge twist. Now bring the left hand down and reach the right hand high. Revolved lunge twist. Now the right hand comes down. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, bend the elbows. Let your chest come down. Feel that nice stretch in the hip on the left side. Straighten the elbows as you rise back up. Flow down. And flow back up, bending the elbows. Do that one more time. Bend the elbows, flowing down. And then straighten the elbows, rise back up. Now bring the right heel to the mat. I'm going to move over to the other side of the mat. Left knee stays bent as you rise to warrior 2. Take a breath. And one more. Now bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Come up on the ball of the right foot. Step the left foot back to plank pose. Now flow through a vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog. And then Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Bring the knees to the mat. Big toes come together. Press the tailbone back towards the heels. Let your forehead rest on the mat. Just 3 breaths here. Breathing in and out. And again in and out. And one more time. Big, deep breath in. Feel the breath as it flows through the body. On the exhale, rise from child's pose to table pose. Bring the knees back so they're hip width apart. Now tuck your toes and lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Stretch it out. On an inhale, left leg rises, 3-legged dog. Open the hips to the left. Then level the hips. Flow that left foot forward between the hands. Right hand stays on the mat. Left hand reaches high. The left hand comes down. Right hand reaches. Revolve to lunge twist. Same flow we did before. Now bring the right hand down. This time a lizard pose. You can bring that right knee to the mat. Untuck the toes on the right foot. Come down to the elbows if you can. This will create a big stretch in the hip on the left side. Just 2 breaths. Breathe in. On the exhale, lengthen, bringing your head forward, pressing the toes on that right foot back. Do that again. Now walk back up onto the hands. Then tuck your toes, bring the right knee off the mat, spin the right heel to the mat, rise to warrior 2. Again, same thing we did before. Take a breath. And as you exhale, bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Come up onto the ball of the right foot. Left foot steps back to plank pose. Vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, dandasana, upward facing dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. One more breath. On an inhale, lift the right leg high, 3-legged dog. Second time on this side for 3-legged dog. And then level your hips off as you step that right foot forward. So the right foot ends up between the hands. Runner's lunge. Left hand is down. Right hand reaches high. Right hand comes down. Left hand reaches. Revolved lunge twist. Now left hand comes down. And lizard pose. Come down to the elbows if you can. Untuck the toes on that left foot. Bring the left knee to the mat. Just breathe. One more breath. Walk back up onto the hands with the hands under the shoulders. Tuck the toes, bring the left knee off the mat. Now spin your left heel to the mat. Keep the right knee bent as you rise to warrior 2. Take a breath. Now straighten the right leg. Pivot on the right heel. So the toes on the right foot point to the left side of the mat. The feet are parallel to one another or thereabouts. Come down halfway. Bring the left hand down right below your eyes. Reach the right hand high. This is a wide-legged twist. And then flow the right hand down. Reach the left hand high. We're just going to flow. Left hand down. Right hand reaches. Right hand down. Left hand reaches. Left hand down. Right hand rises. And right hand down. And left hand rises. Bring the arms or both hands back down to the mat. Take a deep breath. Press into your pinky toes. Bring the arms out to a T. Now slowly begin to rise. Once you're up, bend that right knee. Pivot on the heel of the right foot. Warrior 2 towards the front of the mat. Now bring the hands down so they come down on either side of that right foot. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. Step the right foot back to plank pose. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Now glide forward, plank pose. And on the exhale, lift your hips high, downward facing dog. We're just going to flow through these 2 poses, gliding the hips forward. Plank pose, pressing into the hands, downward dog. Twice more, gliding forward to plank. And lifting the hips, downward facing dog. One more time, gliding forward to plank. And lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Step the right foot forward between the hands, spin the left heel to the mat. Rise, warrior two. Whew. Getting a little workout here, huh? Bend that right knee. Left hand down, right hand reaches, upward warrior pose. Flow to extended side angle, elbow comes to knee, reaching with the left hand. Rise, warrior two. Left hand down, right hand reaches, upward warrior. Extended side angle pose, second time. Rise, warrior two. Now straighten the right leg, drop the left hand down, reach the right hand up and back. Reverse triangle pose. Arms come out to a T now. Press into the left foot, reach the right hand forward, and then drop it down. Triangle pose, left hand reaches high. Breathe. Now bring the left hand down. So both hands are on the mat. And lift that left heel up a little bit and then move the left heel out just a bit so the toes on the left foot point to the upper left corner of the mat instead of off to the left. Now pyramid pose. You can bring your forehead down towards the ankle. Feel that big stretch in the back of the right leg. Now bend the right knee. Step the left foot forward. Let your head drop down. Forward fold. Breathe deeply. Now bring the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Reach the knuckles towards the sky. Press into the front of the feet as you bring the weight into the front of the feet and slowly begin to rise. Come all the way up. Once you're up, press your knuckles towards your heels. Take a breath. Good. Release the hands. Now reach them high. Bring the hands to heart center. Press the palms together. Hinge at the hips. Keep the spine long. Come all the way down. Bring the hands to the mat. This time, step your right foot back. The left foot is forward between the hands. Runner's lunge. I'm going to flip over the other side so you can see me. Now spin the right heel to the mat, assuming you want to see me, and rise to warrior two. Left knee nice and bent. See, mine's almost 90 degrees, not quite. Now upward warrior, right hand down, left hand reaches high. Lengthen the upper body. Extended side angle pose, elbow to knee, reaching with the right hand, pressing into the pinky toe of that right foot. Feel the length along the whole right side of the body. Inhale, rise back to warrior two. And upward warrior, second time on this side, reaching with the left hand. Pressing the pubic bone down. Extended side angle pose, second time on this side. Reaching with the right hand. Notice my left elbow is on my left knee. Rise to warrior two. Now straighten the left leg. Right hand down, left hand reaching, reverse triangle pose, pressing into the left foot. Arms come out to a T now. Reach the hands apart from one another. Press into that right foot, reach the left hand forward, and then drop it down, triangle pose. Now bring your right hand down and pivot a little bit on that right heel or even the ball of that right foot. So the toes on the right foot point towards the upper right corner of the mat. This is pyramid pose. Keep your spine long. Pull back on that left hip and let your forehead come down towards the shin or even the knee or the ankle of that left foot. Lots of length in the spine. Now bend the left knee and step your right foot forward so it ends up between the hands. Standing forward fold. Let your head drop down. Now heel toe the feet out towards the edges of the mat. Bring your arms out to a T and slowly rise. Come all the way up. Reach the arms high and exhale the hands to heart center. Now bring the heels a little bit closer together. We're going to come down to a yoga squat. Elbows to the inside of the knees. Take a deep breath and let the breath go. Do that again. Deep breath and let it go. Now press into the heels, straighten the knees, rise. Star pose, bringing the arms out to a T. Exhale, hands to heart center. Come back down to a yoga squat. We're just going to flow between the yoga squat and star. And come back down to the yoga squat. Straighten the arms and the knees, reaching out to star. And exhale and bringing it down to yoga squat. One more time. Flowing into star. And then back to the yoga squat. From there, bring your hands to the mat. Bring the feet back so they're hip width apart. Step your left foot back. Right foot stays forward. Spin the left heel to the mat. Rise, warrior two. Left hand down, right hand reaching. Straighten the right leg. Reach up and back with the right hand. Now the arms come out to a T. Right knee bends, warrior two. Hands come down on either side of the right foot. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. Right foot steps back, plank pose. Now flow through a vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog. And then flow into downward facing dog, lifting the hips high, pressing your hands into the mat. Inhale, left leg rises, step it forward so it ends up between the hands. Spin that right heel to the mat and rise, warrior two, second side. Right hand down, left hand high. And arms out to a T, warrior two. Straighten the left leg, right hand drops down, left hand reaches up and back, reverse triangle pose. And then bend the left knee, warrior two. Bring the hands down on either side of that left foot. Then reach the left leg up and overhead, stretch it high. Step the left foot forward and bring the left knee, we're coming to pigeon pose, left knee to left hand, left foot to right hand. Let your hips settle down. If you can, that left shin is parallel to the front of the mat, the short side of the mat. As you exhale, come down to the elbows into resting pigeon, and maybe even walk the hands forward, letting your forehead rest on the mat if you can. Check in with the hips, see if they're level. And if you have a block, you may want to set that under the left hip. That'll lift that left hip up a little bit and let the right hip drop down just a bit more. One more breath. Come back to the elbows, then back to the hands, straightening the elbows. Tuck your toes and bring that right knee off the mat. Step the left foot back to plank pose, and then flow the hips high, downward facing dog. As you inhale, right leg rises, lift it high, and then step it forward into into pigeon pose, right knee towards right hand, right foot towards left hand. Scoot that left knee back a little bit and breathe. Let the hips settle, particularly the right hip. And then resting pigeon, come down to the elbows if you can. And then walk the hands forward and let your forehead come all the way down. You reach the toes on that left foot back a little bit. And come back to the elbows. And then back up on the hands. Tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat. Step the right foot back to meet the left foot. Take a breath. Let's flow through our final vinyasa now, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Tuck your toes. Lots of length in the spine. Take a breath. Now, good. Exhale. Bring the knees to the mat. Let your hips drop to your heels into hero pose. Palms are on the thighs. And breathe. I'm going to try something that we haven't done in a long time. So bear with me. Bring your hands to the instep of the feet. So the left hand is on the left foot, the right hand is on the right foot. The elbows are pointed backwards. Now, let your head drop down. Press your hands into the soles of the feet. And if you're able to, lift your hips and let your head drop down a little bit more. One more breath. Slowly lift the head, drop the hips. And back to hero pose. Let's come to a seat now. Bring the hands to the side. Let your hip drop down. Swing the legs around in front. Take a breath. And let it go. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, fold forward over the extended legs. Spine is long. Reach the hands forward now, press into the heels and flow all the way back up. Let's do that twice more. Reaching forward, flowing into the seated forward fold. Spine stays long as you rise back up. One more time, reaching and rising. Let the hands come down. Now bend the right knee, bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Reach the arms up and exhale, fold forward over that extended left leg. Now flow back up, press into the left heel, rise. Do that a second time, reaching and rising back up. And one more time, reach with the fingertips and then rise all the way back up. Bring the arms out to a T. Let's take a twist to the right. Bring the right hand down behind you, press into the right knee and the left heel, and lift your hips. Reach with that left hand. Press the hips a little bit higher. Press into that left foot just a little bit more. And then release. Come all the way down. Reach the arms high, shoulders square to the extended left leg, fold forward. And then inhale and rise back up. Release the hands and bring them down. Bring the right leg out so it meets the left. Bring the peace fingers to the big toes and then straighten the legs. This is heron pose. If you can bend your elbows a little bit, maybe lifting the feet a little bit higher, keeping the spine as long as you can. It'll round a little bit. Now slowly bring the feet apart. Spine stays long. Then bring the soles of the feet back together. Bring the hands to the outside of the feet, pinky toe side. Let your knees come apart. Your heels will come closer to your pubic bone. The spine stays long. Breathe. Release the hands from the feet. Now boat pose. Hands reach forward. Breathe. Good work. Bring the fingertips to the mat. The arms are straight. And then let the heels float to the mat. Then let's find the other side of our side stretch. Bend the left elbow or our back stretch and bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Press that right heel forward. Reach the arms high and exhale, fold forward over the extended right leg. Press into the right heel and rise. And exhale and fold forward. And one more time, inhale and rise. And exhale, fold forward. And then come all the way back up. Now take your twist to the left. Bring the left hand down behind you. Press into that right foot and the left knee. Reach with the right hand. Press the hips even a little bit higher to let your head just drop down. Now let the hips flow all the way down. And square the shoulders, the extended right leg, fold forward. Let your head drop down and breathe. Feel the sensation in the back of the right leg. Now press into that right heel and slowly come back up. Bring your hands down. Bring both legs out in front. And then come all the way down to your back. Let's find happy baby pose. Hands to the pinky toe side of the feet. Press your tailbone down. Soles of the feet are reaching towards the sky. Now bring the left hand to the right foot. So both hands are on that right foot. Then straighten the left leg. Point the toes a little bit on the left foot. And then slowly let that left leg come all the way down. Keep the left leg straight and keep hugging the right knee into that right armpit. If you can, let your left heel touch the floor or the mat. And then inhale and bring it back up. Let's flow through that one more time. Left heel comes down, left leg is straight. Right knee hugging into the right armpit. On an inhale, left leg rises back up. Now back to happy baby pose. And then bring the right hand to the left foot. So both hands are on the left foot. Straighten the right leg. Point the toes on the right foot. Keep hugging that left knee towards the left armpit as you let the right leg come all the way down. The right leg again is staying straight. Let that right heel land if you can. And inhale, slowly bring the right leg all the way back up. Keep hugging the left knee into the left armpit. One more time. Right heel comes down. Keep that leg nice and straight. Point the toes. And inhale, let that right leg flow all the way back up. And then bend the right knee. Let's come back to happy baby pose. Take a breath. Now release the hands, bring them down to the side, reach the heels to the sky, legs up the wall pose. And then bend your knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Let's find a bridge pose. Press the feet into the mat and lift your hips. You can bring your shoulder blades a little closer together on your back if you like. Now let yourself dwell just for a moment in bridge pose. And instead of being captured by the muscular activity, bring your awareness instead to your breath. And just feel the breath as it flows in and out. And one more time, feel the breath flowing in and out. Now release from bridge pose. Bring the tailbone to the mat and hug the knees into your chest if you like, and bring your forehead towards your knees so you're rounding the spine. Then release the head to the mat, bring the arms out to a T. Let your knees come to the left and land, and your gaze is going to be to the right in this supine twist. Now draw a deep breath in. And let it go. Let your knees float back to center. And then floating over to the right side, your gaze shifts to the left. Look towards that left hand. Let the right knee drop down even a little more so the right knee rests on the mat or a block. Now take a deep breath in. And let it go. Good work, everybody. Let your knees float back to center. Bring the arms down by your side and straighten your legs. I think it's time for Shavasana. Flip your palms so they face up. And just begin to gently breathe. Keep awareness on the flow of the breath. Let go of everything else. Feel the breath flowing in and flowing out. Keep awareness on the flow of the breath. Never-ending, flowing nature of your breath. Let go of everything else, all other thoughts, all other feelings and sensations, so that the flowing breath completely occupies your consciousness. Stay with it. Stay with the beautiful flowing breath. Now, without forcing or straining, allow your breath to lengthen. So that may mean that you breathe in a little bit longer than you were before, but try and allow that to occur naturally without forcing, without strain. And the same on the exhale. Feel the breath flowing out and getting a little bit longer on the exhale. Let the breath lengthen even a little bit more, flowing in and flowing out. And one more time, breathing in, feeling the breath flowing into the body. And then let it all go. When you're ready, begin to bend your knees and then roll to your side. Once you're on your side, you can cradle your head with your arm if you would like. And now just pause for a moment. You can reflect back on our practice if you like, or you can concentrate on how it feels to rest in this position with your knees bent and your head cradled in your arm. And when you're ready, keep your eyes gently closed and bring yourself to a seat using as little energy to become seated as you can. Once you're seated, bring your hands to heart center. Press the palms together. Now draw a deep breath in, and as you do that, feel your spine get longer. Feel your ears rising up, and let the breath flow out now. And do that again, a deep breath in so the spine gets longer and the ears rise up. And exhale and let it go. Join me if you like in wishing loving kindness. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe. May you be peaceful, and may you be at ease. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me on and one another on this Saturday morning yoga. I hope you enjoyed our flowing practice.